been a while since the pandemic.
Yeah, it has a different ambiance here than Universal. But still, it's always good to be in new spaces because it means you have to adjust rather than taking it for granted. Um, no, it's we came out of a place that was hard for everyone, and we lost some people. But at the same time, you again are adjusting, and at the same time, it's good to be with Leann because we have such a good relationship, and we are always talking, even off and having our martinis and our Manhattans and stuff.
Just a little
So,
bit of something,
yeah,
something.
yeah. So
But
no,
it's but as far as coming here with the fans and everything, it's a really beautiful thing to see that people cared enough to come out again.
Yeah.
And it's lovely that it's an open environment and that we get to see that, I mean, for us, it's a breath of fresh air as well. Things have lessened up. At the studio, we can actually rehearse a little bit once in a while.
Oh, that's true.
It makes a big difference. I mean, the fact that they were able to put shows on the air for the last 2 years under the conditions that we were all working under, which were very tight conditions, and so it's really great. I think that this whole event is a cap on what that was like. So it's like a flower opening up at the end of the winter. It's coming out, and we're all happy to be out and excited.
We don't get to see you guys much, but when you guys come, you really make an impact on the show. Let's go on. Did you see you guys coming up again?
yes. Leann's got some interesting stuff she's doing now.
Yes, that we're filming.
Yes, it's she's become the social bird.
I'm the Yenta. I'm
Yeah,
the town
it's-
Yenta. I talk to everybody. I tell them all I give advice to everybody. I just ask
Yes.
me. I won't tell a soul until I see him, and then I tell him everything.
Yeah.
Yes, her version of it. It changes
Well,
as her perceptions of it change. But when I pick up a script, I'm always wondering: are we leaving town? Are we going on another journey?
Are
Where
they
are we going
sending
this
us to
time?
Europe?
Or
again?
suddenly we haven't been on for a few weeks, and suddenly we're coming in with our bags. I said, "Oh, where did we go?" And she's always complaining about how awful the trip was. So from right away from the top, it's always an exchange of humor and not a lot of conflict, but there's enough conflict with brothers. I mean, I never knew that my father screwed around so much. That the addition is always somebody new coming. There's another brother, another cousin, another. So. But we were talking earlier how much we enjoyed working with Suzanne Rogers, because it took us back to the 80s and how that was kind of that was the golden age of daytime, and we just loved it. And she got emotional, Suzanne, because we had no adjustments as characters.
Which is true.
It just all came and
Yeah.
talking. So there's a big difference when you go to work. There are some people you have rapport with. Most of the time we do because it's a nice group of actors we work with. But there are some people like Joe who's gone, whose portrait is always there to remind us,
Looming over
looming over us. But it's we've done so many stories. I mean, people. The one thing about Twitter I've liked is that people will put scenes
Yeah.
that I don't even remember we
Yeah.
did.
Right. Yeah.
Completely. I had no idea. I look at this. Yeah.
And we had so many rehearsals in those days. We had time for clothing and fashion, colors, and now we even had time to have a rest. And now it's
Yeah.
like, and that's why
One take and
one
Yeah.
take, and then you're doing 10 shows in 1 week, and you're doing 5 different shows in 1 day. So it's all piecemeal. So the only thing you can do is understand where you fit in.
when you fit in, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You fit in.
Yeah. So when they edit it, it's like your hair was shorter.
Yeah. You're like, yeah.
No.
Truly.
that kind of-
I did a show where I was 6 weeks from the time I filmed a scene to the other part of the same show. And that show, those scenes that I filmed 6 weeks later preceded the scene. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
walked out of one room and I walked into it and I was like, I gotta get my hair done because I'm going to be a different color when I walk in that other room.
But I'm the eldest now. So, you know, it's Big Daddy's gone and
The oldest Demera.
the oldest Chimera, and it's different. It's different. I love when there was a patriarch. You know, you come in and you had a real conflict where occasionally Joe would slap me out of where it wasn't. Oh my God, where it wasn't even the scene because he didn't like my tone when I spoke to him.
Well, I don't often either.
Johnny starts a lot of.
Oh yeah, he tries and stirs up
What's the
stuff.
Bible? He has good interaction with the young Johnny all grown up.
Well, that's a little
What was that?
Johnny,
Oh.
what's it like working with cars?
Oh yes, finally we're old enough to have a nephew. Yes, yeah. Yeah, he's a sweet boy.
And he's always my little Johnny. That's how I see
Yeah.
him growing up, but he's always my little Johnny. I forgive him almost anything.
He knows what to ask.
Exactly. Knows who to come after.
Yeah, I mean, father was very diverse in his tastes. With the women he must have had, because, you know, how does EJ and I look alike? No, we don't. You know, I'm the only one who looks like Joe, because being the first Demera, they had to choose the father. And of course, I recommended Joe because we were in the same class. I said, how about Joe Mascolo play my father? Because he is Italian, I'm Greek, but, you know, and so Joe did that role so beautifully. And with his strega, I miss those times where he used to come and he says, come in and have a drink with me. I said, we're going on since, doesn't matter, a strega, one strega. And we'd go on, both of us on set, and we're happy. You know, we were
I
cheering.
did not ever get invited for Strega. I wouldn't have gone anyway. But
Maybe that's why.
maybe that was it,
Maybe
yeah.
that's why.
You always have so much stuff in your life. Is there anything that you're working on and then kind of
Yeah, I was in Europe. I'm developing a show dealing with my cooking because I have a cookbook out. I've also done a trilogy on Homer about lost treasures, and so I went to Greece this June to look at the new discoveries of Ulysses, and also to a place called Mycenae in Greece. And these are all about the Trojan War, all these characters. And so I've always been a modern man walking through ancient territories and feeling that story. And so I've been busy doing that, and a few things I can't talk about, but yeah, everything's been really interesting.
But you're going back.
Huh?
You're going back to Greece again.
Yes, I go back to Greece. I'm going to Egypt because of the new museum that's opening, and then I'm going to Egypt. I mean, from Egypt, I'm going to Athens to meet with people for a project, and then there was something else. I'm going home to Australia for Christmas. I'm going to see the family.
Oh, wow.
Haven't seen them in 3 years,
No.
and so that's going to be interesting. They're all miserable. You know, I go back to see my cousins. I've got 45 first cousins in Australia, and they all envy my life because I'm free. I can get up and leave, and they're just morbid. Their wives are bored. So I go back and bring in the good news.
Bring all the good news to everybody. Well, now we know what you're doing for the holidays. How about you? What are you doing for the holidays?
I'm actually going home 3 times in the next month and a half. So I'm going home for Thanksgiving, then I have to go for another event up in Washington, and then I'm going again at Christmas, and I'll stay for a few weeks. So my family, a lot of my family's now kind of centralized. I used to go home because I have people all over the state of Washington. And I would get in the car, I called it Santa's sleigh, I was like his elf, I'd have the back end. I'd go from house to house and stay a night, maybe 2 nights with each house. I called it sleeping around. And these people would give me presents to take to the next house. And I would go, now I go to one place and I go from one sister to the next and I make them come to me.
They come to you now, yeah.
So staying off the roads as best I can.
We're wrapping this up, so I'm going to thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Nice to see you again. Nice to see you.